What's going on, everybody? This is Eastside Rage, and I would say this has been a pretty good year for games, and Spider-Man 2 is keeping the ball rolling. Yeah, I'm impressed with Insomniac. They did their thing. Ignore the Xbox fanboys and haters stupidly comparing it to Starfield and bug hunting on YouTube. Honestly, you guys are fucking dumbasses, by the way, for doing that. I mean, yeah, this game has really, got both sides out of control, and, the fact that they're comparing it to a game like Starfield is ridiculous. But you know what? Fuck all that. Let's just get into the review, because this game is an amazing sequel, and I would say if you're a huge Spider-Man fan, you should definitely purchase it. Insomniac, like I said, really did their thing. Alright, a year after, the events of Marvel's Spider-Man, quite a few changes that have happened since then. Peter Parker is jumping from job to job, getting fired. Okay, that's not really new. Miles Morales is trying to get into college. MJ is with Peter and has some training with Sable. And Harry Osborn is back in the game, all healthy thanks to the power of the Venom symbiote suit his father Norman gave him or whatever to get him better. And now Carrie wishes to save the world from ongoing problems through a lot of scientific solutions with his best friend Peter. But while all that happens, Kraven the Hunter is roaming the streets of New York City trying to track down reformed villains, trying to get a second chance at life, as well as both Spider-Man. Things are proving to be disastrous because Kraven needs to do this for his final hunt, because apparently I think he's dying, and it's for his religious and hunting purposes. So it is up to Peter and Miles to keep their lives afloat while keeping 3 of the 5 boroughs of New York safe. The writing is well done in this game, and the characters really are relatable, and the plot has an even more important message that both Miles and Peter learns. You can't do everything on your own, and this is true no matter what type of responsibility or power you hold. Well, just power really, or the responsibility, or even responsibility. Well, I just said that. And there are just some things you can't control either. It also lets you know that you can't keep holding on to grudges and guilt. It's honestly not healthy. And this message really hits close to home for me. And the acting and the dialogue, as well as the cutscenes, are so well done and performed. I give my hats off to Insomniac and PlayStation. You guys rule. Well, sometimes PlayStation were a little off, but you guys did your thing. I keep saying that, sorry, third time. Okay, from the mains all the way down to the characters that just give you that feel. Even the side characters like Miles' best friend Genki, who assists you on missions, or his deaf crutch she can't hear, Haley. They all bring something interesting to the table. Thanks to the effort of the writing and mainly the acting. Well, both. Most of the villains are just doing them in this. It's good to see most of them have turned to a new leaf. But there are some in the game that serve a main purpose and they do a good job. Like, we got Venom, of course. Then you have Mr. Negative and Lizard, who both play Dr. Connors, who both play a major role in the both characters' storyline. You have Sandman, who gives a great, phenomenal opening boss fight, the best if you ask me. There's also a few that have to help you or work in side missions, or some that you actually fight too. There's Black Cat, Mysterio, the Prowler, Miles' uncle. He's reformed. He's not really with the shits anymore. Scorpion, the Wrath, whatever how you have to say it. And you even got Scream. Yes. Yeah, even Scream. Although a lot of the boss fights are a little tedious, it's good to see there's a decent amount of them. Honestly, at first I was worried that there was mostly gangs and mini bosses. It's in the first half of the game. You were fighting Yeah, just them. But you know, like at the second half, the boss is starting to appear. It managed, like I said, managed to pick up later. The game also has a lot of superhero references, implying that there's others that exist in this game's timeline, like the Avengers and Doctor Strange. And there's a post-credit scene. It reveals that there will be one more game with more iconic villains and possibly a new playable Spider-Man. I am honestly looking forward to that. Whew! The map of New York City is really detailed, and when the ray tracing is in effect, it makes my hometown look drop dead gorgeous. During sunset, it keeps the blood running straight to my lungs. Woo! Stole that from Saints Row 3. But anyway, it consists of 3 or 5 boroughs, like I said, of 4 of New York City, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. I just wish they did a better job on Brooklyn and Queens. Well, very detailed in the areas they put in. I wish, you know, to Brooklyn and Queens, well, those boroughs, you know, okay, let me back up. They're very detailed in the areas that they put them in, but things feel like packed together and way closer than it should be. Now, I'm not aiming for real life, of course, no, that would be dumb. You probably figured this out already if you've been watching my channel for a while, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York. New York City is my hometown. New York City is pretty big, and the boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn are the largest. First Queens, then Brooklyn. You know, okay, but honestly, yeah, like I said, so I wouldn't really expect it to be to scale, you know, in a video game replica of my city, but Jesus, I find it so weird that the Williamsburg Saving Tower in downtown Brooklyn is so close to Prospect Park, leaving out the Atlantic Avenue Mall, Barclays Center, that big Flatbush Avenue strip or whatever, and you know, all that. That is just one small example of what I'm talking about. Not to mention when I'm web swinging around, I lose track where the border is sometimes because I'm not looking at my mini map. And you know, and I actually end up going past the game's boundaries and getting turned around because beyond it, it looks like everything's playable. Like Insomniac, you're running on PS5, running on a PS5. That's 9th gen hardware. Next time, try to do more with the outer boroughs if you know you do bring them back. But nonetheless, the game world feels well put together and really immersive. The gaming world feels pretty alive and managed to capture some of that New York feel to it. You can also switch from Miles and Peter free roaming, meet up with one of them while fighting, doing random crimes. The fast traveling is also super fast and reliable, but it's not like you know the first game where you could just hack into a antenna and get the right frequency and you're able to travel to that particular neighborhood. You have to beat a few activities and then you'll be allowed to you know go there. Honestly, I mean, I guess it works. I just wish they put the antennas back, but it's alright. Hey, I guess they want people to actually do the activities. And as for NPCs, they fit in well as the main characters with a lot of graphical detail. If I didn't know better, I would say this is a animated movie. Honestly, that's how well they did with the graphics. I know there are people saying it's very bright and colorful. Well, it's an animated game on a fucking comic book in cartoon. It's an animated game for a fucking comic book and cartoons, my bad. So of course it will look like that. Besides, I would rather a game with colors, good lighting, and a lot of graphical detail than just some photorealistic look. Forspoken tried that and it looked hideous and dull. But the graphics designers really did their thing. I'm honestly proud of them in this category. The gameplay is what you think it is. It's a superhero game where you get to play as Spider-Man, but does it capture the feeling of beating Spider-Man? The first game did. In this one, definitely follows suit. You can bet your ass it does. The web swinging feels like the last. It feels perfect. It just feels perfect, honestly, and it's so responsive still. It keeps you engaged from swinging from the skyscrapers and jumping from building to building, as well as the parkour system. It's really cool running up buildings and flipping into a zip line, then immediately bouncing off the edge of a building, followed by a nice web sling. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's like a nice crispy bacon on the top of a fried and with a nice cheese on a crispy hair with a side of fries. It just goes so well together. They even allow you to lower the swing assist for a more realistic web swing, as well as turn on the fall damage, which can lead to some funny and somewhat brutal results. Now, the combat. The combat is really smooth and responsive, but your hand and eye coordination. Sorry, my bad. Has to be on point. It has to. Sometimes the spidey senses won't be enough. The game is harder than the first, so you gotta fight like you're Spider-Man by keep moving and staying off the ground. Now, for those that have trouble with, keeping up or whatever, you could lower the difficulty, and as well as go into the settings and lower how fast the enemies will reaction time or if they try to attack you. This helps with people who are new to gaming, don't really game themselves, or probably people with disabilities who have slow reaction time. It works. Won't knock people for that or whatever. It's not nerfing the game. Some people aren't good at it. Yeah, people who are trying to call it a weak ass game, shut the fuck up. Not everybody is as good as you. Hop off. Peter and Miles, my bad, both have certain moves they can share and can be unlocked, as well as their own invisible moves. Peter, without the symbiote suit, can pull off several special moves with his arachnid spider robot arms or whatever. With and with the symbiote suit, he can pull off several Venom-like moves. For example, he could have a bunch of technicals come out and slam a bunch of enemies or spin them around. He can do a lot of stuff. Miles can still become invisible, but he has a new type of lightning. It's this blue type of lightning that actually can zap a bunch of people with a bunch of moves. Honestly, it was pretty cool. I love playing as Peter and I love playing as Miles. I don't really have favorites. They're both really powered together. Even though Miles did his thing, Peter, I'm not going to kick him to the curb. He's great. But honestly, like I said, you got to be able to think on your feet. Patience is key in some of the enemies because they can be a little tough to knock out. Being Venom was incredible. They nailed him down to a T, and it felt, awesome being an unstoppable force and mopping several guards all over the place. I was going in. I wish I could have been here more than once, but I played one mission with him, so Venom, so I can't complain. It was enough, honestly. MJ's gameplay, her missions, let's talk about that real quick. They're better than the last game, aren't as scripted, and aren't as annoying. But I complain a little because I do not like her missions. They are not necessary and they're not fun. I found it tedious and boring being MJ. I get Insomniac wanted a powerful female character for, probably political purposes or, just recognition. And honestly, MJ is a lady you don't want to fuck with a taser gun in her hand. And she's really resourceful, but bro, I don't want to spend time playing as an ordinary fucking lady in a superhero game. After 2 fucking hits, she dies facing that Venom mini boss. One of Venom's iterations, I'm guessing, or incarnations, whatever you call it. And I died 3 times trying to figure out what to do real quick. Luckily, this game has a great checkpoint system, but Insomniac needs to stop bringing her back as a playable character. She's not fun to play as and could have been easily replaced with Miles or Peter in those sections. If you want female recognition, just bring a playable female Spider-Man into the game. There are plenty Spider Women you could use. Just do that, please. Okay, and as for missions and I'll just let me hit you off with the corrupt upgrade system real quick. You know, before moving on to the missions and bosses, the game does have a lot of upgrades and rewards and all of that stuff. You know, you unlock a lot of Spider-Man suits from movies, TV shows, comics, and you get a lot of different moves, abilities, and super gadgets. So it's really encouraging to do things outside of the main missions, which brings me to the missions. Now here, they're decent, a little repetitious, but the combat, story, and dialogue really makes it up for it. Besides, I would rather search for clues, beat the living fuck out of bad guys, and chase down fuckers getting away. You know, the whole superhero routine. Then you know, do this stupid shit, do the stupid shit they have in like side missions. Outside of the flame and the missions where you have to locate the mission instruments, I really wasn't interested in them at all. Most of them were mostly fetch quests or you helping the community with something small. I get there shouldn't be full on action of most of the time, because nearly everywhere, because yeah, it can be really lazy and everything, like atmosphere. But bro, I don't want damn near every mission to be a fucking fetch quest. That's why I hated it. But as for activities, they're pretty decent as well. I would say my favorite was Mysterio's Mysteriums. Yeah, I can't wait to get up to his boss fight. I hear there is one. I'm currently playing it right now. I didn't 100% the game, but I completed the storyline, completed all the main side missions, and you know, the flame thing, and you hit me. But anyway, he's a reformed criminal and has these halls that you find around the city that people got stuck in with special effects in them. However, a lot of people, you know, I told you, a lot of people got stuck in them due to a malfunction. And if you know who Mysterio is, I don't even have to get into detail of how much of a con man he can be. He is in the movies, comic books, he still is in this game. But I'm not going to spoil things to come. There's also hunters, you know, hunter blind bases, you know, I think that's what they call them. You know, prowler stashes, unidentified targets, EMF experiments, symbiote nets. Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I hate the EMF experiments. I only did one, not doing any of those again. The symbiote nesses, and I think Marco's memories. Not sure if I'm missing anything, but as you can see, there's a good amount of content in it. You know, things to do. Now the boss fights. Now people who love them, take this however you want to take it, but I would rather put a rope around my fucking neck and bungee jump off of a fucking cliff than to play any of those fucking boss fights. Instead, the only one I like was Sandman. So I'm gonna be honest, they are not only difficult and frustrating, but they are tedious, repetitive, and lazily done. They make you fucking fight almost every fucking boss 3 to 4 fucking times with hardly any fucking variation, and makes them more fucking difficult every fucking time there's another fucking round. Like, bro, I almost broke my controller and ripped my fucking shirt on stream, and then forget about it. I had to take a 20-minute break because I was about to lose my shit completely. More than Sekiro fighting Genichiro. Check that clip out if you want to laugh. I had to take a I'm so mad that I was about to read the same fucking line. This shit has me creased. You know, if it weren't for the checkpoint system, I would have took a whole point off. Jesus. Moving on to the random street crimes. They're a fun pastime. They always manage to correlate to the game story, bringing new enemy types like the symbiote and the flame followers. You know, it really works. You know, the street crimes, I can't complain about it. They work. They're good. Now, as for the music, it's really on point. Rather, if you're web swinging, fighting a boss, or have or a bad or a sad cutscene, it always nails to capture the feel of the moment. The sound design is good too. It captures the sound of the city when you're on the ground, and capture this sound when you're traveling through the air. No matter where you are, they got it down packed. And as for optimization and polish, I've been hearing a lot of experts on Twitter saying the game is a broken mess. And while on my end I didn't run into a lot of bugs, anything game breaking, but Spider-Man 2 really works well, and the game never seems to drop much in frames. It performs awesomely, and loading time is nearly unnoticeable. Most loading and glitches really occur. So I think a lot of people saying it's a mess are probably bug hunting for exploits on just looking at YouTube, because normally from what I've seen, people who played the game aren't really complaining about those issues. And honestly, if you know my channel, I don't got no bias. If it was a broken, unpolished piece of shit, I would let you know it's a broken, unpolished piece of shit. Like, come on, man. There's no bias here. So don't try to hit me up saying I'm a fanboy and shit, because I ain't. So that ain't what I'm not. I would let you know so it ain't the case. But let's just move on to the verdict. Honestly, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a great sequel, and if you're into superhero games and love the first one, it's for you. Honestly, in a lot of categories, it capitalizes on its predecessor while bringing a lot of new ideas to the table. Well, enough new ideas to the table. This is why I'm rating it an 8 out of 10. Some people might ask me why not a 9 or whatever, and feel I'm being too hard on it. Honestly, it's really four things why, and I really went over them. I'm not gonna go over them again. Those things really did bother me, and honestly brought the score down a point. I honestly wanted to give it a 9, but I sometimes forced myself to play it or get through this mission because it was so tedious or whatever. But should you buy this game? Absolutely. Is it worth $70? Abso-fucking-lutely. It's packed full of content for a Spider-Man game, and it has great gameplay, fantastic writing, and awesome visuals. It's a must-play in my book. Anyway, it's been Raj from Eastside Rage signing out. Keep raging out, and I'll catch you on the next stream.